I found this knife for $1 at my local secondhand store. It's an old Frost Mora with a red plastic handle and stainless steel blade. At first glance it looked tired, scarred, faded, almost forgotten. But as any maker knows, there's potential in almost anything. I saw more than an old blade. I saw a pair of carving tools waiting to be brought to life. The first step was scoring the blade. I used a hacksaw to make a shallow groove where I wanted it to break. Stainless steel isn't heat treated the same way as carbon steel, so it doesn't take much. Just a steady hand and some patience, a gentle bend and snap. 2 pieces, 2 possibilities. My plan was simple: snap this blade in 2 and shape it into 2 separate carving knives. One for chip carving and one for small whittling tasks. Both useful, both hand refined and both rooted in a tool that had seen better days. One piece stayed connected to the red plastic handle. That would become my chip carving knife, shaped with a curved spine for tight turns and detail work. The second piece was destined to be a compact whittling blade, modeled loosely after a traditional slide knife, just scaled down. I started with a chip carving knife, the blade still seated in the original plastic handle. I filed it down carefully, refining the spine into a curve. The smooth arc of the spine gives control and finesse when making plunge cuts and cleaning out tight corners. On the second piece I sketched out a more traditional shape. A small slade blade, perfect for roughing out forms, carving spoons and shaping handles. Compact, efficient and personal. I love the feeling of a good whittling knife, like an extension of your hand. I shaped the blade on a wheel grinder, taking care to preserve the temper of the stainless steel by dunking it in water frequently. Stainless won't hold a perfect edge forever, but for carving wood, it's more than enough. No heat treat needed, just a slow, deliberate approach. For the handle, I didn't want store-bought wood. I had a piece of wild cherry lying around, technically firewood, but with a beautiful grain if you looked close. I chopped it down to a rough block. Then drilled a tang hole to seat the blade. By hand carving the handle, the knife finds its soul. I based mine loosely on the design from FlexCut and Bushcraft, tools I often use. Smooth curves, ability to rest your palm on, and enough taper to guide precision cuts. No 2 handles come out exactly alike. Every cut adds character. Perfect imperfection. Once I had the shape dialed in, I mixed up a batch of epoxy. A bit in the tang hole, then a careful press and a tap with the mallet. I let it sit and cure. This part is all patience, nothing forced. Once it's set, I touched up the form with a few final passes of the knife. I oiled the handle with raw linseed oil to bring out the deep cherry tones. Then came sharpening. A cheap diamond plate, some cheap sandpaper, a homemade leather strap, and a little compound. Both blades reached hair shaving sharp. You know it's right when your forearm is clean in a couple of passes. After that, I turned back to the red-handled chip knife. I gave the plastic handle some care, scraping away any paint and grime. Sanding it down, then applying gentle heat with a torch to deepen its color. It bloomed from a faded pink to a rich red, like it was ready to carve again. Testing is the best part. The whittling knife glided through seasoned birch like butter. The chip carving knife made tight, controlled V-cuts and clean edges. The blade was a little thick, so I'll thin it down later, but it still performed beautifully. Just to highlight the patterns of the cut, I hit the carving with a bit of stain. What began as a forgotten knife was snapped, shaped and sharpened into two new tools. Simple, useful and ready to work again. Hope this inspires you to make something. Thank you for watching.